Alrighty, guys, we are on week 5 of repositioning a random company and implementing it live. And just to note that none of these companies I've had previous conversations with, they are just purely found from a LinkedIn ad, from their website. So jumping into this week's company, we're looking at Juna Financial. So let's see. So we've got next level accounting with Juna. Now, in terms of positioning, we're unclear initially as to what that means. It doesn't have any clear distinction as to why should we pick you. It only starts to get clearer when we get into their about page. So on there, we can see in the reviews and some of the headings that mention Juna provides the right size solutions at every step. They've adapted, grown, and scaled with our business. There is the key, and there is something that we can hook onto. Yes, there's other accountants that focus on this area, but if it's implemented well, this can be their differentiation point, which means that they really need to double down on it. So, new positioning, you're thinking your accounting partner for business scaling. Yes, we're narrowing down your audience, but it also is a clear distinction point. Let's look at what this comes to when it's in play, because without that implementation for this kind of positioning, it's just a bunch of fancy words or fancy graphics, which, if you've been following me for a while, it is something that we want to be avoiding. Agree, brands. So let's take this in a different direction from what they mentioned about technology and lean into that human side. And let's implement. In terms of their content, they already have a lot of educational content. And that's great, but everybody's doing that. So we need to take that to the next step. What does that look like? Documenting the client journey, showing specific financial improvements, and not just the general satisfaction. How they can get investor relations support, growth planning methodologies. Now, in terms of their training, think about like strategic thinking workshops, how to scale and identify any bottlenecks in the scaling through the financial data. And this may be already the case, but it's very much doubling down on that. What are different ways that they can look into that? What about the investor relations training? Preparing for board decks, fundraising materials, not them doing it, but them giving solid advice from a financial perspective. Because we're not losing what it is that they're doing, it's rather focusing on their angle on those areas along that scaling side. Now, okay, what about the sales? We want to include discovery questions that are around scaling. They're very much strategic. So, what are your growth plans for the next 18 months? Are you planning to raise capital? Are you currently considering acquisition? These are the areas that will guide them in terms of scaling, and it very much positions them already in the minds of who they're talking with. Now, in terms of their operations, their customer service, let's think about monthly business reviews instead of just compliance check-ins. We're building that human side. We're building that idea that, hey, we're with you as you scale, as you grow. And then proactive scaling alerts. So ask questions like, okay, your burn rate suggests that you don't need to fundraise in, say, 8 months or 18 months. You're not waiting for them to tell you. Then it's very much like tracking what you already have and focus on getting the reviews of their services published on Google, which is something that I'm not seeing. I don't know if that's been intentional, but we can only see Glassdoor reviews. In terms of partnerships, we're looking at aligned content or services, things like business brokers, securities attorneys. They could have that joint offering for fundraising, for M&A, legal, and financial work. And how about HR consulting firms? So there they can package scaling financial planning with people or organization planning and industry-specific consultants. All right, so that is it for this week. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this repositioning? Was there anything that I missed or anything that you would change? And if there's any businesses that you would like to see me reposition and implement, Let me know in the comments.